Next one is a panel discussion on the topic RISE, Women in Broadcast. RISE is a woman-centric broadcast media association which has been formed. And we have the moderator Shivani Kocher, Senior Manager Sales, Systems, Technology and Operations, APAC for Warner Brother Discovery. And our esteemed speakers for this are Sonam Dave, Marketing Director, Woman Emerging and Advisor. Nupur Saxena, Vice President and Head of Sales, Sony Live, Emerging Business and Markets. Bhaskar Majumdar, Chief Business Officer of Benchmark Broadcast Systems. So I would request the speakers to please come on the dais, please.
Hi everyone here. So we are a group of passionate people who are professionals in our different fields, and also we are working together for an organization called RISE. It's not a profit organization, and we are now going to discuss today about where are the problems, what we're going to do, and how we can support this initiative. So with me we have Sonam Dave, who is the marketing director at Women Emerging. She has her flourishing corporate career, which she left, and now she is associated with this not-for-profit organization, and she's supporting women where they can redefine and get into the leadership roles. Her experience spans across various sectors, including B2B SaaS, IT solutions, outsourcing, recruitment, finance, and of course not-for-profit. So she, there are times when we are working in a corporate and some things motivate us and tells us that we need to do something more. What's going on? There's something wrong in this, and we have to bring a difference. So that's what I think Sonam is working towards relentlessly. So welcome, Sonam. And next speaker we have Nupur. Nupur has 20 plus years of experience in integrated marketing, and she is also the winner of Wonder Woman Awards 2023. She's one of our RISE mentors, and also she is on the board of advisory board with us. And towards my right is Mr. Bhaskar Majumdar. He is a very well, highly educated an IIT graduate, and he has 20 plus years of media and broadcasting experience. He is a Chief Business Officer at Benchmark right now. And in his own words, he says that his career has been shaped by the able women in industry. So he gives a lot of credit to that, and today he's here and he wants to give back to the community. So welcome all of you. Okay, so I'll give a little bit of brief about what RISE is, and then we'll get into the our panel discussion and talk a little bit more about it. So it's a not-for-profit organization, and it works on the gender diversity in the industry, and it's very well known. Even if you see around today in this event, you will not see many women around. There are, but again the numbers are very few. And the effort here is to work towards bringing a platform or a place where women who are inspiring, who want to do something in their career, they have a platform or the place to work and build up their career to the leadership roles. So this organization is a global organization. We have a community of 4,000 plus people globally who are supporting, who are members of this organization. And we have 25 plus companies who are supporting us. They have their chapter in America, North America, LATAM, EMEA, and ANZ, Australia, New Zealand, also in Asia. And now, today we are announcing a chapter for India. So one of the things when I joined RISE 2 years ago, which came to my mind was, why don't we have a specific activity or a chapter for India, because we need it more than anybody else, I felt. And I'm so glad and happy to announce that we are now a 9-member advisory board, and we will be working towards women and supporting them. And there'll be a lot of programs which will be done here. So a brief about what is our mission in this organization. So We want to lead the organization, foster gender diversity and equality, and especially in media, entertainment, and broadcast sector. So that's our focus. And our initiatives, there are a lot of initiatives going on globally, whether it's networking events, whether it's mentor-mentee events, or even education-led events where we're educating young talent to come in this sector, because there is definitely a skill crisis here. So with all these initiatives and things which we are trying to do, I'll turn to our panelists and talk about what are their thoughts about it. So the theme which we want to bring it up today is, first of all, we recognize where the problem is, because some of you might think, okay, is there a problem, even if there are not enough women in this domain? What if? What is the problem? And then reflecting the problem and then reimagining how we can work towards together and solve it. So my first question goes to Sonam. So what do you see there is a current issue in our workforce, especially in media sector or overall? Do you see that there is an issue here, and would you like to talk about it?
Well, I would like to start by saying yes, but I don't want to randomly just say yes. I would rather back it up by things that we've found out. So the movement that I work with called Women Emerging, where we are redefining leading for women. Before we launched our first expedition, where we are, speaking to women, we did our research, and this large online community that we have and our list of podcast listeners actually told us that there is a strong sense of disaffection that women see and sense in the way the corporate space is working and in the way leadership is primarily looked at. And so a lot of them, in spite of the fact that they might have an opportunity, they are walking away from it because the status quo leading is really not working for them. The second, the cohort that we spoke to, they told us that they never want to move to a space of leading because they feel that the optics of being a leader or how you lead needs to really undergo a change, because women think they lead and they do things differently. And we see that. We see that a lot of different ideas come in when you have men and women in the same panel, in the same boardroom. And I think that's why when we sense that there is that need, there is these things that women are telling us, we really need to go ahead and, possibly resolve them. And then when I started to do some more research specifically in the media and the broadcasting space, I was reading a research that was published by Women in Media Foundation. And they mentioned that at a junior workforce level, at an entry level, the composition of the workforce is 24% women. And then as it grew, that 24% went to 13% at a senior leadership level. And then when you talked at the board level, it went to like 9%. So there is already a very low percentage that is going at the entry level, which begins to further reduce. So where is the challenge really? And then when you speak to industry professionals, you realize that a conscious effort to hire women in the workforce, identify what really works, does not work for them, is currently not being made at a mass level. And when I say all of these things, I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom outside. I mean, there are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of sectors which are making a lot of progress in that space, but it's possibly not enough. So, I mean, the more I think of what we are doing, my own personal experience and what research has been saying, I think there are three primary areas where I see a challenge come in. One being that conscious choice to say we would want to hire more women in this sector. Two being, is there enough reach for programs where women can actually identify why they are doing what they are doing and that they do it differently? They themselves accept it and also talk about it to other people around to say we do it differently. So yeah, sure, let's think of a different way of looking at this problem. And the third being, are there enough women mentors that we see across the same industry and in the same organization who can really pull me up and say, hey, this is tough, but I think you've got this. I think all of these three areas is where I see a challenge come in.
I think this is right because as we say that the pipeline is not leaking, it's broken actually. Because by the time women try to reach to the boardroom level or go upwards to it, towards their career, a lot of them leave it or they think it's not their piece of cake, and it's not that they're not capable, it's just that they don't feel that space belongs to them. They feel sometimes alienated, and that's why there is you see people missing out or the women missing out from the boardrooms. And I think this is what we are trying to understand, that why is that happening,
Yeah. And just to add to what you said, I mean, sure, they are feeling that, okay, they are feeling left out, but they also are not feeling heard. Like, I remember the first time I was part of a board meeting, I was the only woman in that space. And there was a counterpart who, had called me and said, when you go to the board meeting, if you are the only woman, sit like this. Because everybody sits like this. I'm like, that's not going to work. Because I lead differently and I want to continue to lead differently. And that's fine. Yeah. I think that acceptance also needs to come in. But yeah, I think that possibly lays the foundation for this discussion well.
Yeah, and I think we are all led by our own experiences, and that's why we all are passionate and we feel the need of a change. So yeah, nice to hear your point of view. So Nupur, do you want to add something specifically to the sector you work in? Where do you see the issue there? Do you see something not working as expected?
So the issue is there. Let's just face it and accept it. The issue is there. But the space that I work in within media, which is your sales, marketing, or programming, we see a very aggressive growth, a progress over there. We see a lot of women over there. But when I look at broadcast engineering, I look at the other spaces, which the ancillary arms perhaps of media itself, we ourselves can see how underrepresented women are. The way Sonam articulated, yes, we have to still find a space for ourselves. How do we do that? So let's try and address that at some point of time with RISE coming in. Let's look at mentoring programs. Where is the issue I would see is, I think there's a skills gap. Are women aware that they can get into this field? Are they sure they want to get into this field? Is somebody telling them, yes, you can do it, like Sonam articulated? So let's look at that space, give them the wings, tell them, have some training programs, and maybe look at a proper coursework and growth. I guess that should take care of a lot of problems. And of course, women have to be at the helm of it. If the sisterhood doesn't come into play, I doubt if anything is happening here.
So yeah, that's good to know. So basically, the reason we say that why women is required in this whole community or in the professional era, because it's a lot of talent which we are missing out. We say skills are not there, we're short of skills, but there's a whole bunch of skill which we are not utilizing it well, just because we are not considering them for certain positions or certain places, just because they are not similar to what we are. For example, if the recruitment is happening and a male member is recruiting, they need to consider that somebody who's different from them or a woman or any other gender, they should encourage them to be part of the organization, because we have to get all the skill set together in this media industry. Now, coming to what Sonam said, that when people or when women go to the boardroom, they are basically left with the percentages as less as 9%. And we were looking at the stats. There are sectors, especially broadcast engineering sector, you hardly find women there. It's not that we don't have engineers. If you see IIT and like IIM, these institutes are producing women engineers, but where are they going? So why they're not coming to this sector? There is something not okay here. Either they feel that it's a men-dominated area, so they try to avoid that, or there is something else. So it's important to understand why the percentage, especially in the broadcast area of engineers or other technical people, why the percentage is low and why is it not growing? The last time we saw it's like it's growing by 1%, which is hardly anything. So going to Mr. Bhaskar, what do you think? Do you see the problem here, and what do you think is impacting while this problem is happening, where you don't see enough women representation in the broadcast area?
Yeah, I think if you consider what is taught in the universities, especially in India today, in their undergraduate engineering curriculum, broadcast engineering most of the times is not there even as an optional subject or an optional area. Sometimes in some universities it will be there. And coming from the IIT background, I know that IITs don't teach broadcast engineering at the undergraduate level, at least. That is specific to the IIT system. But if you even go to some of the private colleges, etc., it's not there. So there is a huge, huge talent crunch. So what do companies like Benchmark do, and what have we done in the past, decade or so? So we had to hire electronics graduates and computer science graduates through internships and direct campus recruitments, and then it takes about 5 to 7 years of on-the-job mentoring projects, grow them stage by stage to actually create a profile for them, which is a broadcast engineer profile, a solution architect, or an engineering manager. Takes about 7-8 years of real nurturing to create that profile, right? And when we hired, we were not constrained by the fact that whether it's men or women. And my company and the kind of background that I have had, and you've spoken about that, and Ashish, who used to be our CEO, we've always open to hiring more women than men actually, if they have the skill set, right? So we have that open mindset. And in the past also, you ask the industry, Benchmark has created good women engineers. But this problem continues to persist because one or two organizations on the tech side, like Benchmark, doing this is probably not sufficient. We need to have more broadcasters and companies who are on the content side, like the telcos, the platforms, right? We need to approach them and make them aware of the issues and encourage women engineers being taken on for internships and being nurtured, because it's going on in the IT industry as well. There is a huge movement. So like my son, he studied from one of the NITs, and there are companies like Adobe and Google and Microsoft who will come and do campus recruitment, and it's only for women. They say that this year we'll hire only women. That perhaps is not happening in the broadcast industry.
So very good. Nice to hear that, where the gap is actually. The gap is starting from the educational institute itself, where the broadcasting engineering is not being taught as a full prime subject. I think that is one gap. And then when it comes to hiring women and grooming them and mentoring them and making them as a competent engineer, that is, a lot of companies are taking initiative, but I think a lot more companies need to take initiative, because we need to understand our women and men. It has to be a skill based. It can't be a gender based. If a person is skilled, that person deserves a choice to be in the room or in the panel or in the training room to learn about the set. So although it's a women, it's for women organization, RISE, it's women in broadcasting, but I feel that it's not possible without the male allyship. And I would say that one of my mentor was a male, and I've been, I always talk wherever I go about them. So it is not something which women can go on and on their own. We need allyship. We need where we are not present, where males can always come up and say, we offer support. All right. So what is your take on male allyship, Bhaskar?
It's absolutely important, and male allyship makes a lot of difference. You need to have managers who have been groomed like that, and to be able to forward the cases of women within their organizations. And I have been an ally throughout, you know, for women, and that is why I'm on this panel today, because I actively take interest in this subject. One of the factors that made me and my career, as you know, you shortly pointed out, I have reported to women CEOs for more than 15 to 18 years in my career, right? And one of the things I observed is that the number of women in the workforce and their participation is much more in international organizations, because I've worked across Singapore, UK, in France, in US. It is not as difficult as it is here, probably in India. So one of my, you know, thought processes is that while male allyship is there, you know, there are a lot of, what should I say, there are a lot of cultural issues, right, within organizations, and they cannot just go away in a year or two. There needs to be constant messaging from the CEO and the board, and we do have very competent people occupying those positions today, and we need to sensitize them as part of our movement in RISE, and we need help from them. So the allyship also needs to come from the senior levels, because the messaging needs to come from the senior levels. And advisable to all my women colleagues here who are building their careers early on is to look for companies who have international footprints, who have multicultural operations in multiple countries. Take that experience of working in teams, whether you are based in India and you are traveling once in a while, it doesn't matter. You know, you need to have the multicultural international experience early on in your career, right? Within the first 10 years, if possible. And that gives you a lot of perspective, and you probably will not see the same kind of issues accentuated to the level that it is here in India in some of these organizations.
That's wonderful. And yes, you're right that, you know, any change needs to flow from the top, because that's where the change will be accepted throughout the organizations. We are running out of time right now. We have two RISE mentors here, both Sonam and Nupur. So I'll quickly like to, if you can just give me a very short one-sentence experience about what is your experience as a mentor, Nupur?
Okay, it's been very fulfilling, I must say that, extremely fulfilling. I have a mentee. She is a total enthusiast and very eager to learn, very eager to grow. She's very open-minded. So it kind of just, both of us complement each other. But it's been very fulfilling. That's all I can add.
Thank you, Nupur. And a last quick question again, if you can give a short one-line answer. What do you expect mentees to do if anybody is seeking for to join our organization and learn? So what do you think we should expect from them?
I think three things. One, commitment to your own career growth. If you are committed, you will be able to establish that with your mentor. Being committed to the mentor-mentee equation, because they are investing their time and you are looking and seeking for guidance. So you should be invested and committed to that, you know, relationship. And last but not the least, be curious and open to feedback, because there will be feedback and it will be maybe different from the way you see the world.
Thank you so much. I think very well said, and I am so thankful to our organizers who gave us this opportunity to be on the panel. And thank you to our speakers, and thank you to our audience for patiently listening to us. If anybody is interested to know more about this organization, which is a non-profit organization, the membership is free. Feel free to reach out to us after this session, and we'll guide you how to be a member of this and support us where we want to grow a diverse, equal atmosphere for all genders together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani, for this fantastic session. All I can say is NM as an organization also believes in the role of women, and we are led by a dynamic managing director, Sonia Prashar, and our workforce of the number of women working in our organization far outnumbers the number of men working. So we wish you all the best, and I would like to request Kavita
Thank you.
Sharma, our senior director, to present a memento to all the speakers.